Have you ever gone to a movie just because a certain actor was in it? For like decades, that was Hollywood's golden ticket. But what if that ticket has totally expired? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating argument. Is the era of the big Hollywood movie star, the kind of person who could guarantee a box office hit, is it actually over?
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to look at Hollywood's very real box office problem. Then we'll ask the big question, is the movie star done for? From there, we'll explore this idea of character over celebrity, see who's rising up to take their place, and finally, we'll ask what the future of stardom even looks like.
So let's kick things off with the hard numbers, because honestly, they're pointing to a super troubling trend for Hollywood right now. It really seems like major films, even the ones packed with A-list talent, just aren't performing like they used to.
Okay, case in point, the recent thriller Crime 101. I mean, on paper, this thing is a slam dunk, right? You've got two Marvel heavyweights, Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo, headlining. That's the kind of star power studios literally bet the farm on.
And they definitely bet big. We're talking a hefty $90 million production budget. And that's not even counting the absolutely massive marketing costs that go along with a release of this size.
But here's where the story takes a nosedive. Despite all those stars and all that cash, it opened to just $17.7 million over a holiday weekend. That is a major, major stumble and a huge red flag, showing the disconnect between the investment and who actually showed up.
And this wasn't just a one-off. That very same weekend, we saw the release of Wuthering Heights, a drama led by none other than Margot Robbie, fresh off her massive, world-conquering success with Barbie.
And again, a huge investment was poured into this, an $80 million production budget. With a star of that magnitude, the expectation was for a certified blockbuster. So the film opened to $40 million. Now you might think, hey, that's way more than Crime 101. And yeah, it is, but for a movie at this budget level, which needs to make hundreds of millions just to see a profit, these are still really disappointing numbers. So what does all this mean? What's going on when even the biggest names in the business can't fill theaters? Well, this brings us to the core argument, the central thesis we're digging into today. This is the really crucial question. I mean, if the combined star power of Thor and Barbie can't guarantee a box office smash, has the fundamental model of Hollywood stardom just broken down? Is the very idea of a movie star obsolete? This quote from director Quentin Tarantino just cuts right to the heart of the whole thing. He argues that the fame, the drawing power, it no longer belongs to the actor. It belongs to the iconic character they play. So let's really unpack that idea. This concept of character over celebrity is being offered up as the key reason why the old system is failing. It's a fundamental shift in where our loyalty as an audience actually lies. Think about it like this. People aren't necessarily huge fans of Mark Hamill. They're fans of Luke Skywalker. They don't rush out to see any Chris Evans movie. They rush out to see a Captain America movie. The love and the loyalty are for the IP, the intellectual property, not really the person portraying it. And the idea goes even further than that. In today's media world, an actor's personal life, their social media, their political takes, all of that can actually become a liability. So instead of adding value to a film, that stuff can actively push audiences away. Okay, so if the influence of the traditional movie star is fading, where did it go? It had to go somewhere, right? Well, this question points us to a really fascinating and disruptive new force in entertainment. So let's do a quick recap. We saw two prime examples of the traditional Hollywood model: huge budgets, big stars, and major financial losses. Now let's look at a completely different model. Meet Iron Lung. Now, this is not a studio picture. It was a horror film, financed and driven by one person, the massively popular YouTube creator Markiplier. He had no giant studio marketing machine behind him. And the result of that? A reported 10 times profit on its return on investment. A 10x ROI. That is an absolutely insane number in the film industry. And it wasn't a fluke. It was the result of a creator who has a direct, powerful connection with his audience. So, the whole theory is this. Real influence has migrated. It's moved from the giant silver screen to the little screen you hold in your hand every day. Audiences, especially younger ones, are building relationships based on trust with YouTubers, podcasters, and streamers. They feel this direct, personal connection that Hollywood just can't seem to replicate. And that trust, it translates directly into ticket sales and endorsement deals. All right, this all brings us to our final section. We've looked at the problems with the old model, and we've seen the rise of a totally new one. So, what does this all mean for the future of what we even call stardom?
So to wrap it all up, the key takeaway is pretty clear. The traditional top-down Hollywood celebrity system seems to be broken, and it's being replaced by this more direct, more authentic, grassroots kind of influence that's built by online creators.
And that leaves us with one last provocative question to think about. If the people who truly hold our attention and our trust are no longer on the movie poster, but are broadcasting to us directly from their homes to our phones, what does that mean for the future of the movies themselves? Something to chew on, for sure.